Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sharing a Drink with Matt. Today I'm talking to Finlay from the Gusset Rats. Thank you. Fuck. I'm going to have to do that again. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Sharing a Drink with Matt. Today I'm talking to... Fuck again, man. This has just been a bad day.
Oh no.
We'll put that beginning in at the end. I shouldn't have started drinking so early. How you been anyway, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty awesome. I just woke up, so my drink of the day is coffee.
Yeah. Excellent. I like your shirt.
Yeah, slush pit.
Definitely. So, to begin with, where'd the name come from?
The name for the milk incident?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really not sure, it just sort of sprung up out of our four brains. It's just the collective, it's who we are, it's our identity.
Excellent. So yeah, you just sat down, chucked a few names around.
Yeah,
we up with that.
We had a few different ones going, but in terms of capturing who we are, capturing our music, what it feels like to see us play, the milk incident just seems to perfectly describe what's going on. And it's shaped a lot of our song titles since. We've got Full Cream, Udders, Entree, Appetizer, Chunky, so it's really quite integral to the band.
Excellent. Okay, so you're obviously quite young, but what was on the stereo in your house when you were growing up?
Wow, I want to say Kylie Minogue and the Black Eyed Peas.
Is that what Mum was listening to?
Yeah, that's what she was blasting, as well as Queen, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so then what was it that made you want to be a musician in the first place? Because obviously listening to Kylie Minogue wasn't one of the influences.
I don't know. I mean, Kylie Minogue, the Black Eyed Peas, Queen, it's very dramatic and fun. Like, not that that's my whole music, but very dramatic and fun. I don't know. I think I wanted to be a musician when I realized how much fun it was. And when I realized that I just, didn't want to do anything else with my time, really. Why would I?
Yeah. And when you were fucking around at the beginning, what influences kind of was shaping the sound that you put out now?
Definitely 21 Pilots. Just the craziness of it, and I feel like the drums have this intensity, but it's not really aggressive. It's just like energetic. And then 21 Pilots and Blink 182 they were huge for me when I was just learning the drums. Travis Barker just going so fast. I don't know. I love playing fast. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I loved him as a drummer till he started drumming for Machine Gun Kelly, and I just thought, what the fuck are you doing, mate? You've got so much talent.
Yeah, he's gone in a bit of a weird direction.
Shit.
I think it's cool that he's like, as a drummer, he's turned into this superstar, and now he's working with whoever he wants. Like Travis Barker's always been on I think his solo albums have been like hip hop where he's on the drums. Like, I mean, I don't know exactly what he's doing. Like, musically, it might not be exactly what I want, but I think it's cool that he's a superstar drummer living on top of the world.
Yep, definitely. So if you got up off your seat now, walked over to the stereo and pressed play, what would be on? What would come up?
Oh man, it could be anything, but right now this week it would be I mean, just this morning I played one song because I was in a rush. You Weren't in Love with Me by Tim Friedman. Tim Friedman, the lead singer of the Whitlams, who are an old Australian band. Very
Yep.
strange show tunes, sort of rock, but I've just been playing his album on repeat the last 2 weeks. It's this really sweet singer-songwriter piano sort of big band coming in, really nice choruses.
Yeah.
Totally not what I would usually be listening to, but this week it's exactly where I'm at.
Have you got kids?
Have I got kids? No, I do not.
If you had kids and they were in that kind of stage where they're just sucking everything in, would you let your kids listen to your music?
Oh, absolutely, I would. Sure to be a great time.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So, gig wise, have you got a memorable gig? One that's just will go down in history so far in your mind. Have you had one or?
Oh, really memorable gig. Each gig feels like it's got its own whole unique sort of silly adventure to it. Usually, it's never smooth or boring. Um, I feel like gigs with my band Gradient were the craziest, just because we're a really young three-piece playing absolutely out there, insane music. But we never got into too many stupid situations. But probably my favorite, actually, most memorable gig, or one of them, was when my band The Milk Incident were going to be playing at the Servo Food Truck Bar in Port Kembla, which is a lovely little tiny venue, very
Oh,
intimate.
it's a great venue. I love it.
Yeah,
Excellent. You
yeah,
can bring your kids.
yeah,
Don't have to worry
absolutely.
about getting a fucking babysitter.
Yeah, yeah, it's a whole family sort of thing.
Mm.
And the Milk Incident, I mean, I'm the drummer, so it's a bit wild, but it's sort of like light, sort of indie rock with a bit of dance and a bit of jazz or blues, or I don't know. It's fun, it's energetic, but it's very light. Whereas Gradient was the other end of the sound spectrum, but the Milk Incident had to drop out of the gig last minute, but I was going to be supplying the drum kit. So I'm like, oh, well, I can still supply the drum kit for this gig. And I've actually got another band who could play Gradient. So maybe we'll just fill in. But, if the Milk Incident is like, in terms of how heavy it is, it's sort of down here, it's really light. Gradient's like, it's brutal, it's dark, it's strange, there's lots of screaming happening. It's a bit of a different show. So, and then the bass, so me and the guitarist and singer of Gradient, we just did it as a two-piece because the bassist couldn't do it. And I kind of told him, let's just we're filling in for the Milk Incident here, like let's go a bit easy on this one. No, we took that room to a very, very strange place. I think everyone was listening to it from outside, which is probably where it sounded the sweetest, because we were, I don't know what happened. We just totally took over that.
Excellent. Have you got one of those memorable gigs that you'd rather forget about?
Oh, rather forget about, I don't know, nothing too bad has ever happened. So all the silly things, they've all been pretty good, I reckon. So I'd say so far, no. But there's definitely been a few gigs where, when the stage sound is just off. You know what? Gigs that I'd forget about, they could also be from that band Gradient, because that was just off the chain. You never know what was going to happen. If the guitars would be working, if the strings would be coming off every song, if Bo was going to smash his guitar, what was going to happen.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, doing the whole GG thing.
oh man, that was some.
It's
Bo,
like, have you been on a bill, kind of like playing with bands on the same bill with you that are just nothing like you at all? Like, have you been on a bill that you really shouldn't have actually been on?
Well, that memorable
Just
gig
so
story
good.
where we snuck in, that's definitely one
Yeah.
of them. But sometimes it's really funny to be a fair bit different from the other bands. Can be a
And
bit,
it's also good for the punters, you know. They
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Have you had a moment in your career, like I don't know how long you've been playing for or anything, but have you ever had a moment where you've gone, fuck this shit, it's not for me, like I'm gonna go to TAFE and do a course and fucking be working a bank or something, I don't fucking know. Have you ever wanted to give it up? Has there been a fleeting moment?
Yeah, there's been one or two fleeting moments. Just I think it's when I'm like been trying really hard to get something and I'm struggling to get it. It's like, oh man, this is getting a bit difficult, but I've always managed to just like persevere and relax, and it just keeps being fun. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you got a lady? Have you got a girlfriend?
I do not as such at the moment.
When you did, how was that good? Was she a positive thing with you and you playing music? Like, was she backing you up to the fullest, or
Um, yeah, yeah, people, I mean, if I was dating someone that wasn't really into music, I really don't see how that would happen. Um, it would be a bit of a funny perspective shift, but no, it's usually people that are pretty supportive and into it. Although sometimes, uh,
and if she's jealous, kind of like, oh, I saw that girl
yeah,
doing it through the whole night. They're gonna stop playing. I don't want you to be in a band anymore. Go fuck off.
yeah. Well, I mean, I love, I love people, other people, but my love for playing music as well is pretty close. So if it would really have to be a certain sort of, I don't know, the music is number one for me at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. 100. Look, I don't believe in God. My higher power is music because that music gets me through every fucking misstep or misjudgment or anything like that. It gets me through everything in my life. And I have different soundtracks for different situations in my life. I think music is, yeah. I think it's the thing that, yeah, is the best thing. Anyway, do you have a favorite venue that you played at, like, and you love playing at? Where are you
Favorite.
from, actually? Where are you from?
Um, I was born in Sydney, but I moved away. My mum and I moved away pretty early. I've lived in Perth. I've lived in Wollongong when I was really young, but um, before here, I lived in Bermagui. Have you heard of that place?
Okay. Where's here? Where are you now?
Oh, I'm in Wollongong now. Yeah, Wollongong now.
Okay. Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Yeah, right. I actually thought you were in on the Gold Coast. I don't know why
The
that.
Gold Coast.
I
Must be
don't know
my
why.
sunny
Have you
disposition.
got a favorite genre that you put above all other things of music?
Um, Probably alternative. You just stick alternative in front of
That's a large
anything.
spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You just stick alternative in front of anything, and I feel like it gets a little bit more exciting.
Worst. Have you got a genre of music that you will not fucking listen to?
Oh, I think I'll give most things a pretty open-hearted go. There's It's nothing that I'd be like, I could not do this, but there's a certain sort of brand of like Christmas carol associated music. Like the carols themselves are pretty cute, but then when everyone starts coming up with their own sort of, it feels like
But
people
like
are trying to come up with the next hit.
Whitney Houston and all that sort of shit playing Christmas carols.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice a little bit. It's nice a little bit. It's really sweet, but when it's all these songs that are all just trying to be that next huge Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You or something, it's like, oh, yeah, that's probably be the least favorite genre.
So you can handle R&B? You
Bit
don't
of
mind
R,
listening to a bit of R&B?
bit of R&B. I mean, uh, I've always been a little bit of a Michael Jackson fan, I must say. Um, that's probably the closest thing to R&B be listening to, some of his more relaxed stuff. Don't mind a
Yeah.
little bit of R&B.
Well, I've always said there is a gem in every genre of music. Like there's a few genres of music that I hate, but there's a couple of songs in those genres that I'm like, wow, like yeah, I fucking dig this. Like country music can't do it at all. But I watched the other day, a couple of months ago actually, Casey Chambers. She did a gig and she came out with a banjo and did Eminem's Lose Yourself. And I swear to God, like the first half of the song was just her singing with the banjo. And then the band kicked in and it was like, Eminem's Lose Yourself. Can you
Yeah,
imagine that done in a country way? And then fucking hardcore rock just going bang. It was brilliant. It was.
that sounds
I was
really good.
quite fucking stoked. Do you have a venue you hate that you wouldn't play at
Venue I
again?
hate. There's a few venues that I've been a bit tired with in the past. Just from like maybe they're a smaller venue and I've played them a bit too many times. Diamond Dogs, Dapto. There was a time when I was a bit tired of that venue, but all the venues that I've disliked, I've totally come around on. Like Diamond Dogs, Servo Food Truck Bar, and Mosh Pit are the sort of smallest kind of proper venues that I know. And at one point I was playing a lot of gigs there, especially back in the rejected days of hardcore thrash punk. And it was but all those venues I've totally come around on, and it's still an awesome time every time. Sometimes the sound in some venues can be a bit not to my liking. Kelly's on King is one of the more difficult venues to play, but I still love it. I played that venue last night and it just has its own unique feel, and it really pushes you to the limit a bit because you've got to deal with less stage volume and a small room. So really tests how well you can actually play to the room rather than just lose yourself in your own world. So at the moment, I'm a pretty big fan of all the venues. There's not one that's
Yeah. But like I don't know. There are some venues that I've been to that I've just thought, no, you just don't. You don't treat the band good. You don't treat the punters good. You brought it up, so I'm really excited because I actually played yesterday an EP of the Rejected that you played on. And fuck, man, you smashed the drums. You kick it. It was fucking brilliant. Tell
yeah.
me about your days in the Rejected, if that's okay.
Oh man, Days in the Rejected, so fond. Um, I'm not in the band. The band's sort of broken up because Steve, after being in the Rejected for 30 years or something, Steve finally, I think his ears gave out, but it was the first band I ever joined, and it was such a perfect first band experience. Like, couldn't
Mm,
ask for anything better from a first band. Um, Playing these really
yeah,
tight knit community underground hardcore punk shows. Um,
yeah.
it's like nothing else. Like, we're not really playing to that many people, and we're not really getting, we're not getting the people coming from the club or anything having a bit of a dance. We're getting people that are seriously there for the music.
Mm.
Um, so that was really cool. We used to have 4-hour rehearsals every Sunday in Sydney. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and we didn't really muck around. We fucking played the songs over and over. Uh, Sort of, I don't know if that's like giving me a bit of a twisted expectation for rehearsals. Like, I love a good time. I love to get creative. I love to tell some jokes, but at a rehearsal, I'm sort of here to do some work. And
Yeah, yeah. You can see that Steve like is like he's very professional at okay, let's party, blah blah blah. All right, stop now, and let's get in. Like I thought, I forgot all about the Rejected, and when I got back on to Steve, and I started, yeah, I remember seeing these guys with fucking World War 24. Um, I spit on your gravy. In the 80s at the Lansdowne
yeah.
at Petersham, and it was just like, oh my God, you're kidding me. This is one of the most influential bands in my fucking, like, I've been in the scene since 82. And love you, darling. I'll see you when you get home. Don't do shit you shouldn't. Yeah, fucking, and and then I've gotten all their tunes and everything, and I was just like, fuck, these guys are good. And the album that I listened to yesterday that you were on, it was, yeah, like,
Did you have a favorite song from?
hey,
Did you have a favorite song from the album?
no, I pretty much didn't. I pretty much, my most favorite song probably out of the, I don't know if you were drumming on that one or not, but my favorite is two girls, one cup. That
Oh,
song
are you
is
serious?
just is fucking fantastic.
That's the song I auditioned for the band with. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Magic.
I sent, Steve was looking for people to join the Rejected. Steve is an absolute nut. He is on another level. And if he wasn't, I would have never joined the band, because I made this one little profile on this band mix website when I was just playing the drums and sort of I didn't know how to join a band. So I thought I'd just make an account on this website. And then, here comes Steve scouring the internet for a drummer in, the area. And I think he said he, you know, messaged like 100 different people about it. Like,
Wow.
and I fully believe him.
Got to be
And
proud of that, mate.
yeah, well, I don't know, like the Rejected, um, it's not the most popular. It's hardcore thrash punk. It
Which I
totally,
don't understand. I cannot understand why these guys aren't as big as in that genre, aren't as big as the hard-ons. Um, that I love them. I think they're fucking great. And I remember back once I got on the stage and I was like, fucking, yeah, they're Rejected, yep. And I remember back and their live shows were insane. You
yeah,
know what
right.
I mean? It was like, I remember seeing them with down at the Harold Park Hotel with Cosmic Psychos. and like both bands were young as, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they were fucking probably the same age as me at the time, and it was like they deserve to be better placed more in the list of top hardcore punk bands of Australia. So,
Definitely such a scene.
yeah. So tell me about the milk incident. What are you guys doing? Like, were you together when the COVID hit?
Yeah. I've been in the milk incident for ages now. I'm not even sure, but it would have been 2020 or something. Like, I don't know. It's been years. But we've just sort of had a weird sort of progression as a band. Um, we used to rehearse a lot, and we've played a bunch of gigs around, and we're working on recordings and stuff. But the milk incident, it's never been all or nothing with the milk incident. It's always been a bit of a, let's get in the shed, play a bit of music. I met the guys when I joined the band. The bassist sort of knew me in a little bit, but I didn't really know him too well. But we just make the shed sound freaking awesome for 45 minutes when we get together and play. So we've really kept it on the back burner. But even if we don't have a rehearsal for a month or two, um, it always
Yeah,
comes together when we get together.
yeah. How was it? But with sorry, mate. I was just looking for the dog.
So good.
Daughter left the door open. So now what was COVID like? Like when with the band? Well, like did you do FaceTime and jam, or when we were on lockdown? Like what was that like for
Um,
you at that time?
Definitely a little bit sad with, lockdown. It's like no gigs to prepare for, and then it can be really difficult to even get together for a rehearsal. But um I don't remember it really bothering us too much. Like we didn't do as much as we could have in terms of, if we really wanted to if we really wanted to do everything we could have as a band, we could have been writing songs but I think we just totally chilled out. Um it didn't really affect
Yeah, I
us
think
too
that's all
strongly.
everyone could have done. Really, was just chill. Fuck you got in your mouth. Was just chilled out. Yeah, I think it was just
Yeah.
like, well, fuck it. Can't leave the house. It was good. There was a lot of bands that were actually on YouTube that were, got together and were doing gigs on YouTube, and
Yeah,
you could
yeah, I
watch them
remember
live
those.
or Facebook or something.
Hmm.
You had that. You had that. You had that, but one. It's just and now since COVID's over, since everything's finished, it's fucking every band in the world wants to tour. You
Yeah.
know, not like the Damned. When was the last time they fucking toured? You got,
Yeah, I think it's really everyone maybe appreciates live music a little bit more
yeah,
after that.
yeah. So, in internet wise, like, how does I ask this to everyone, and I always get sort of the same but different answer. The internet, how do you think that's treated the Aussie music scene?
Wow, what a question. Um, it doesn't feel like the Aussie music scene is super much of a worldwide phenomenon. I feel like we've got a few bands that are sort of stand out, but I wish we had maybe more bands that were talked about more. But I think it's on us to get in there. But in terms of the internet, I think a lot of people bring up the Aussie accent.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was told, if someone listens to a song on Spotify, the band gets 0.00.5 of a cent for, for that song being listened to or downloaded or whatever. And that's crazy. It's like, it's unfortunate that, this is a scene that you really need a daytime job to support, what you're doing. You cannot, and even like bands that are playing fucking world tours and all that sort of bullshit, even they're not going to become millionaires or rich from doing it's unfortunate for the, like, what genre would you put your band in with the milk incident?
The milk incident.
Alternative?
Yeah, it is a bit alternative. I really struggle to pin it down. It's like, I mean, indie rock, dance, jazzy, bluesy, reggae.
Yeah. Oh, so it's what? Sorry, mate. You just sat there. You didn't ask me to answer any questions, and now you got the shits. What are you doing? Oh, mate, don't have kids, eh? Like, I've got 8 of the little fuckers, and they're just
8?
pissing off. Yeah. Anyway, fuck them. Okay, you have the opportunity, right, to put on a 5-band gig. They don't need to be alive. They don't need to be in circulation. They don't. But you have the chance to put on a 5-band gig. Who would those 5 bands be?
5 bands. That's a bit of a festival.
Yeah.
I think it would really depend on the mood I was trying to create. But just 5 bands, let's go. I don't know. I reckon you'd probably want to get Queen in there. That'd be pretty memorable. For some reason, Slipknot's coming to my mind. Having a bit of Slipknot, maybe get the energy in a really weird place, really mix it up, get people moving. And then, I don't know, can we get Elton John or something as a solo act? Or maybe Elton John and Eminem as sort of a duo sort of thing. Probably put, I don't know if I could play with 2 bands, maybe I'll sit out of this one. The milk incident we sort of match Queen's kind of energy, I think. So that would maybe line up well with the support. Yeah. And then could go local as well for another act. Teen Jesus and the Gene Teasers seem to be doing pretty well at the moment. Maybe I'd ask them if they'd be willing to get on as well. I think that'd be quite a diverse, energetic lineup.
So you'd have Queen as the headliner, wouldn't you?
Yeah, pretty much. That would be the pinnacle, the climax of the night for sure. Unless Elton John and Eminem could do it.
The Bohemian Rhapsody movie?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, like all these biopic movies, about bands that are coming out. The Queen one was brilliant. I watched the Elvis one the other day. Have you watched the Elvis one?
Oh, no, I haven't. How was it?
That guy never did a world tour. He never played anywhere but Las Vegas.
Are you serious?
Seriously, man. I watched this movie and I'm thinking, what the fuck? Like his manager signed a contract saying that his manager would have a unlimited credit at the casino, blah, 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 all this shit. His manager fucked him. But yeah, the guy never played out of Las Vegas. He did his whole fucking career playing for people in casinos, which it just blew me. Just blew
That's
the
a
fuck
that's a
away.
different way of doing it.
Yeah.
Usually bands want as much exposure to different people as possible, but staying in one place and just fucking killing it. That sounds all right.
Who's the best band that you've supported? There's a charger on Chase's desk.
No, it's not.
There is 3. I saw them last night. Excuse me. Sorry, mate. This is how just have a look. This is why I need an editor. My editor has to put all this bullshit out. And this is why it's very difficult to do interviews at home. But yeah, kids are great. I love them.
Yeah,
But
kids are great and awesome, but I feel like I'd only want kids if my career had really slowed down, because I don't want to stop the excitement.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I work during the week, and on a Saturday I do my interviews and reviews, and on a Sunday that's family time.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes Saturdays I've got to fucking can't do anything, because Saturdays we want to go to do this, we want to do that. It's you need to kind of balance things off, and as I asked before about, do you have any kids, because it's not like like the Foo Fighters where you can bring your family along,
Yeah.
every tour you do, or Janis Joplin's babies at the side of the stage asleep in a guitar box. It's just things like that don't really happen much. Did you find it? Oh, winter. Yeah. So yeah, tell me about the past, the present, and what you want for the future of the Milk Incident.
I think I was interested by something you asked or you talked about earlier, a bit about how Spotify pays bands very little. You don't get paid much for each upload, and it's difficult to make a full-time thing out of it. But I think one of the things that comes with that whole fact of the internet is that it's so easy for anyone to get into it. The Milk Incident, like, we've uploaded a song to Spotify that we recorded in my basement, which is pretty cool. We did all the mixing. We didn't get it mastered, and it sounds a little bit amateur, a little bit unmastered, but it's still us, and it's a really fun song, and it comes on, someone else plays it when I'm at work every now and then, and it is it's awesome to listen to it. It's really fun. So the Milk Incident, we've never I'm a pretty serious sort of musician. I'd love to do it as a career or as much as I can, but some of the other members in the band, they're doing other stuff. Sometimes the lead singer, he's got his football games on a Saturday night, so he might turn down a gig because he's got a football game, and that's not something I do, but it works for that's what he's looking for. So the Milk Incident's always been about, it's such a different, when we play together, it's like none of my other bands. It's not the most balls to the wall, heart racing stuff like some of my other bands are, but it's got this sort of relaxed energy, this relaxed fun. I really like to call it dance music, because I think that's what it is. It's really atmospheric. It's really nice to listen to. It's really entertaining and fast paced, and we have a lot of fun changes. It's a bit silly at times, like, you know, the milk incident, like it is a bit silly. And I think that's really cool. So the milk incident, you know, we've been going pretty slowly over the years, but our connection as a band has just been actually increasing. And we're working on recording another one of our songs. And I'm pretty proud of Joyride, given that it was one of the first songs that I ever sort of produced. But it's been almost a year since Joyride or something. And our second song, I think it sounds 3 times better. So I'm really excited to get that finished up. And everyone in the band's really excited too. And I think we're going to do this next song, and then we're going to do a few more songs, and maybe that's all we'll ever do, or maybe we'll just keep it going, and in 30 years we'll have this amazing huge collection of really fucking cool music.
So you obviously you're that was brilliant, by the way. Thank you for that. But obviously you're a bit younger than Steve and the boys in the Rejected. Did they give you any advice in how to not be a musician, but just how to deal with being a musician, how to you know, take the thing on board, you know, not like, have you had good advice being with the, or even being with other bands, you know, other bands that you were with, or being with bands that you played for on bills? Have you gotten good advice that you've taken on board and that's worked for you?
Yeah, right. Steve, the Rejected was really cool. Yeah, Steve's one of the most hardworking musicians I've ever known, and we kind of, you said it yourself, like, wow, that sort of didn't, you know, he's put in crazy amounts of effort himself to really do a lot of things, but it never blew up. You know, he never got heaps of people. Like, the Rejected could have been much bigger than it was, but to me, that doesn't make me want to give up. It just makes me feel inspired. Just, you know, he was doing it for that long, and he really did manage to carve something out. You know, if he stopped doing what he was doing, the Rejected might be underground as hell, but it still had a pretty big impact on a few people. So that was cool. Steve hammered in super hard the importance of hearing protection, which is incredible. Like, when I was still in the Rejected, closer towards the end, after it's been a year or two in the Rejected, I joined another band as well, just for fun, which were a metal band called Visualis. They're awesome. But when I joined them, they didn't really play with earplugs much. And I'm like, yo, what are you guys doing? We're playing loud as fuck right now. Can you guys even hear what's going on? Like, let's chuck some earplugs in and we can really focus in on the sound that we're creating without damaging our ears. So I'm really glad that Steve hammered in how crucial that was, because it is, you have to take some things seriously.
Yeah. So what advice have you fucking idiot, stop it. What advice have you got for bands starting up now? What bit of advice can you give them?
Wow. Bands starting up now, I'd say get into it. It is so easy to have a really good time playing music. I think try not to overthink it. Just try to have fun and follow your heart and talk to your friends, you know, your bandmates. When you communicate really well with people, the songs are going to flow well. Just see what kind of music you can make, see what sort of moods you can create, and don't be afraid, just go for it.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's yeah, that I get most of that a lot when I ask that question. But you know, like when it becomes a job, fuck it off. When it becomes something that you know you don't really want to do, but you want to play, you know, but okay, I've got to go to work tonight. I'm playing here, blah blah blah. You know, when it becomes that, just learn how to bricklay or something. I don't know. All right, last question. As a supporting act, who is the best band that you've? Who is the best headliner that you've supported in your career?
Thunderfox.
Who?
Thunderfox.
Okay. Wow.
They're freaking awesome. I hadn't heard of them before we played with it, but it was actually a Milk Incident gig. You know, I'm in a few bands, but the Milk Incident, we just get random gigs here and there. But when we scored we opened for Thunderfox at La La La's in Wollongong. Everyone in the band except me was super stoked because Thunderfox, I don't know, everyone else in the band was listening to Thunderfox and just in love with it. And then when we actually got the opportunity to open a show for them and play with them, it was a really big moment for the guys in the band. Actually, they're like, man, we would have been at this show, and it was packed. Like the venue was absolutely full. Thunderfox played for 1 hour. They have a saxophonist, a keyboard player, the singer plays guitar, and he's got this beautiful high voice, and they do a bunch of crazy funky dance songs, and the drummer is unreal. And they did a cover of Thriller by Michael Jackson, and the whole room is just having such a boogie. The keyboardist was like a go-go dancer. Like he danced to the Milk Incident set, and it was just awesome. Like the whole thing was so phenomenal. Thunderfox.
Mad. I'm gonna have to try and get him on the show.
Oh, absolutely. You got to listen to them. They are so strange.
Are they
Like,
Wollongong band?
they're in Sydney based.
Yeah.
Get them on the show. Tell them that the Milk Incident wants to play with them again, if possible. It's been a year and a half or so. We need to line that one up if we can.
At Lala's. Wow. And that is you can in when you're talking about Wollongong venues, Lala's probably is the venue you can fit the most people in. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got Wynn Stadium, La La La's, and you know Dicey Riley's or something in my mind. I don't know.
You got the fucking Diamond Dogs. Survey. But yeah, excellent. So hey, thank you for coming and being on the show. I appreciate it 100%, man. Totally blessed. I watch a few of my old interviews, and you'll just see it's pretty raw and unprofessional, but that's the way I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure.
That one's for you, Jeff.
Be sure he's loud.